Hey guys, so today I am going to be calling this video makeup therapy because that is really what makeup is to me. It really is like therapy time for me. Like some people meditate, I freak out and I grab makeup. So that's what we're going to be doing. I'll probably be ranting some in this video, but mainly just hanging out, and it's not going to be a full face because I did already do my foundation and concealer and powder and primer and all that. It is really extremely hard for me to just sit down and do my makeup on camera due to my animals always knocking down the camera and all kinds of stuff. So like something like this will take me about 2 to 3 hours to film, and to edit it, it's crazy. But anyways, like I said, I already done my creams, I've done my primers, my foundation, concealer, and powder. I'll show you what I used. Now I do use 2 primers. I use a mattifying primer for the pore-prone areas, which is right beside my nose, and I just dab them in, and then up on the forehead, right here in the middle, and then on my chin. And then I like to use a luminous or a hydrating primer for the rest of the face. My face is legitimately like terribly dry, terribly dry. I do have bronzer on my nails. I haven't done my nails or anything. They just stain. The bronzers that I use just stain my nails so bad. So don't even bring it up. I did use the Cover FX blurring primer for my pore-prone areas, and then I used the Laura Mercier foundation primer. Now this is a hydrating plus luminous foundation, which I love to use for the rest of my face. And I do have to color correct because of my birthmark. I have still not found that perfect full coverage foundation that covers that completely up without color correcting. I'm still on the lookout for a new foundation. Now I know a lot of people have said, I think it's the Dermacol. I think that's what it is. I have not tried that yet. Maybe when I could afford it, maybe I'll be picking that one up to give it a test run. So I did color correct, and I used the Bella Pierre Cosmetics Pro Concealer Palette. And I just use the orange just because it will cancel out the dark circles under my eyes and the dark birthmark. And so I do use the orange in that. And I do, since it's a little bit dark, I mix it with the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. And this is the color correcting fluid, but it does have like that peach orangey tint. So I mix those two together. In the foundations today, I usually mix 2 or 3 foundations every time I do my makeup. I did use the Physicians Formula, the Healthy Foundation. This one is in shade LC1, and then I mixed it with a little bit of MAC Studio Sculpt Foundation and the shade in W20. This one's a little bit darker, so mixed with that, it's just perfect. And then I did use a little bit of this to cover up the orange under the eyes and stuff. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Longwear Shaping Stick, and this is in shade 404 Shell Beige. Sometimes I'll mix 2 concealers, sometimes I'll just go in with 1. I use the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser. It is in shade Fair, and it is a little bit too dark, so I did lighten it up with the Wet n Wild makeup stick. And this one is in Your Natural. And then, of course, the powder. Everybody loves this. It's the Pretty Vulgar powder. That's what I used to set my under eyes. Now, I will lay a bake down, and then I'll dust it right away. I only let it sit on there for maybe a minute. I don't go the full 5 minutes because my skin is very dry. So now we're just starting off with bronzer, and we're going from there. But anyways, guys, so I'm kind of freaking out because it's getting closer and closer to the time to move. Now, so to contour, I'm just going to lay down the line, and I'm going to use this, whatever I've got right here around me. This is the Profusion Blush and Bronze Palette, and I'm going to go in with this darker shade right there to contour. And I'm also going to be using the IT Cosmetics brush. This is the Airbrush Smoothing Foundation number 102 brush. And mainly what I do with this, because it is so dense, I just lay the contour down and then I'll blend it out with a different brush. You know, there's so much stuff to do, and I know the closer it gets, the more excited, the more nervous and everything that I'm getting. Now, the problems I'm having with it is my boys are going to have to switch schools. They're going to be going to a totally different school, which is just something that we have to do right now because I couldn't find any places closer. I did, and I had one, but of course, y'all that have been watching me a while, y'all know what happened with that. So they will be switching schools, and that's one of the things I really hate about it because my oldest is 18. He's graduating in May, and I hate to change him up so late in the year. But we're still very excited. So, and I'm just going to contour, take the same one in contour around the mouth. I don't know why I can't do my makeup without contouring the nose. There's absolutely no reason there. I don't think there's anything wrong with my nose. But if I don't do it, I feel like I'm missing something. But this is basically like therapy, and I know a lot of people say that. There is so many people that have their own things and however they cope or deal with stress. Like I said, a lot of people meditate. Me, I grab my makeup. And it's been such a long time since I have been able to do a get ready with me, especially a full one. And I'm so ready to just get back in the game and just start doing regular videos like this, which I will still be updating you guys on my life vlog, what's going on. Okay, now we're going to go in with a bronzer, and I'm going to be using these are some brushes that I got from Amazon, and it come with these 4 brushes, which I actually love. I love using this one for foundation, this one to blend out my concealer, my eyelid primer, all of that. I use this one for a bronzer and this one for my powder. I think I'm going to mix 2 bronzers today. I'm going to mix the lightest bronze shade in this palette, and I'm also going to mix it with my e.l.f. bronzer. Now this one is in Sun-Kissed Glow. It's just a hassle, and the house needed, and it still needs some stuff, so I'm not completely done. It's not completely ready to move in, but it needed a stove and a refrigerator, which those things will be here, I think, tomorrow, and we're just so excited to get in there. And again, there is a deposit on the light, so I'm going to have to get that taken care of, get that out of the way. And it's just small stuff like that that we're trying to get accomplished, and it's kind of hard right now. It's not been the easiest task in the world to just completely start over, completely start from scratch. It's like one of the hardest things that I've ever had to do. So we're going to go in with a blush. I was thinking of going in with like a purple toned one. So it's either going to be Berry and More, which I absolutely love this blush. This is one of my favorites. Or the Physicians Formula Rosy Pink. I know it's called Rosy Pink, but it does have that purple shift, which you know, rose shades, they do have a slight purple shift in them. So since this one doesn't have a whole lot of shimmer, I'm just going to go ahead and go in with that, because I did use the e.l.f. bronzer, and it does have quite a bit of shimmer. I mean, it's not glitter. It's not the big, bulky glitter. So I am going to use this one. We are going to use that with the Farrah brush in the 50F. I love this brush. I got it with one of my Etsy bags and absolutely love it for blush. And I just sort of dust it on, and then I dust it through the back of the cheeks. And everybody has been bringing their blush up higher toward their eye, and I've been doing that, and I've been loving it. Oh my gosh, if you have not smelled the Physicians Formula blushes or the bronzers, I was just stuck on the bronzer, the light bronzer that they had. And these are no different. They smell just the same, and they do give you that beautiful glow. There's a little bit of shimmer in them, but it's not the big, chunky glitter. So it just looks like a glow within. And then I sort of drag my blush back. And then what I will do is I will take this powder brush. This is one of the Amazon brushes. And I'll just sort of like marry everything together, like blend it all in. And if you do go a little bit heavy-handed with any of your blushes, because I know there are some that are so pigmented and so dusty that you just can't help but go in with a heavy hand. If you do mess up on that, all you got to do is take one of your powder brushes, grab you a setting powder, translucent, whatever shade that you want, and just dust a little bit over that and blend it out, and that's going to bring that blush color down a lot, trust me. Now we're going to do the brows, and guys, this is just such a task for me, and it always takes me, I know, a good 5 minutes to do my brows, so if any of this is cut out, I do apologize. I'll update a brow video sometime, because I go in with 3 or 4 products, and I think that's everybody's pet peeve, is doing their brows, because it always takes so long. Now, I know there are some, like these girls on Instagram, like they could do it like in seconds flat, or at least it looks that way. So I'm going to go in with this. I cannot remember. I know I got this in an Etsy bag. I know it's one of these dual-ended pencils. I'll look it up and put it on the screen of exactly what it is. This is one of my favorite pencils. And I do love using a gel. But here lately, I've just seemed to reach for this pencil a lot more than a lot faster than I would the gel. And then I like to go over top of it with the brow gel. Now, I've got this one. This is the LA Colors, and I'm so old that the letters are just kind of wore off where I've been handling it so much. But I believe it was light blonde or something like that. If I'll try to find it and put it up on the screen. And now that we are done with that, we are off to do our eyeshadow. Now, I'm going to prime. I'm going to use a primer. I always have to use a primer or concealer, either way, whichever way you prefer. I'm going to use the Essence I Love Color Intensifying Eyeshadow Primer. It looks like a concealer with almost like a pinky undertone to it. And I'm going to use this brush. I believe this is a Luxie brush that BoxyCharm sent me. And I'm just going to use this to kind of blend it in and out. And I'm going to go for a simple eyeshadow look. Usually, every time I start messing with makeup, it's never, ever ends up like a natural look. But I am going to try it this time. But I do want to use these new Juvia's Place palettes. And I don't ever set my primer. I guess it depends on the eyeshadow. Some eyeshadows perform a lot better going over top just the primer. And some of them, you do have to set your primer for your eyeshadows to work well. Just about all the eyeshadows work for me without setting my primer. So that's what I'm going to do. And we're going to be using the Nubian by Juvia's Place and also the Saharian 2 by Juvia's Place. I will show you what these look like. They're absolutely gorgeous, guys, and y'all sent me these, and I can't thank y'all enough. They are just beautiful. Now, this is the Saharian 2, and this one is the Nubian, which is just so adorable, and this is so easy. Just for a travel palette, this is so easy. It's got your mattes. It's got a good transition shade. The only thing that it doesn't have is, I know it has that dark brown, which you can use to deepen, which is perfect. The only thing it don't have is like a highlighting shade in there. Another thing I have been loving, now this is something I've had for a while. One of my friends, Julie, sent it to me. It's the Ulta Beauty Smart's new hue shadow switching pan, which I think a lot of people use this. It's like one of these pads in there, and you just run your brush over it, and it wipes the shade off of it, so you can dip into another shade with the same brush. I think they call them the color switch, I believe is the one that others use, but I absolutely love this thing, and I'm so glad it's made out of tin. It didn't burn. So now what I like to do is I like to take a light shade, really a light matte shade of an eyeshadow. You know, I'm not seeing a shade that I want. Like that one is light, but of course there's shimmer in it, and I like to use a matte shade. So what I'm going to do is use this Profusion, the mattes palette. Mine actually broke, but this is all mattes, and they're just gorgeous. It's only got one shimmer shade, which is that really dark, deep black. It's called VIP. So I'm going to go in with Gentle right here. It's kind of like an off-white, like a beige eggshell color. Like I named off 3 shades right there just to be doing it. And I'm just going to trace my brows. Now sometimes I'll do this with a concealer, but if I'm in a rush, I just do it with an eyeshadow, which really there's nothing really I'm doing today besides sitting at the house. I felt like I was a little stressed today, so I figured I would do my makeup on camera and just kind of have like a little therapy session to rant, play with makeup, and just kind of forget about everything. Yeah, the house is going along good. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I'm hoping to be in there soon. I can't give y'all an exact time. I mean, I can tell you it should be within the next couple of weeks. And I know I feel like I keep saying that, and I am. I know I am. But there's just so many like little odds and ends that has to be done before we actually move in. And it is like in the middle of nowhere. Like I said, the boys are going to have to switch schools, as bad as I hate to. But right now we're kind of at that point where it's like we're ready for that. We're just ready for a move. We're ready to start over. And it's so hard. So hard. This has been the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life, is like just start my whole life over, like start it over from scratch. I mean, from bottom. It took me a month to get them clothes that they could wear to school and stuff. I mean, it's just been, you know, you never realize how much you have until you lose it. And back then I was like, oh, I didn't think I had anything. you know, well, yes, I did. I know that now, and I've come to appreciate things more. I'm going to go into the Nubian and use this for a transition. But yes, I have actually learned to appreciate everything that I've got now, because losing everything, it really will make you stop and think. And I am grateful for what we have now, which is nothing but clothes. We do have a roof over our head. Thank goodness, thank God we have a neighbor as kind and giving as they are, because there's not really a lot of people like that. I don't really have the support of family. You know, they are just not really. I'm not gonna say I don't have their support, which I don't. But they live kind of far away, and it's kind of hard for them to even, you know, visit and come over and stuff like that. Not to mention, they wouldn't have had the room to even move us all in, even if it were an option. So, thank goodness we do have neighbors like that. Some of them's a little cray-cray, but if you know what I mean. Y'all have seen that in some of my videos. I think I'm going to go in with the orange shade in this one, and just kind of mix it with the transition, go a little bit underneath of it. Oh my God, this palette is gorgeous, guys. It is so gorgeous. So gorgeous. Look at that. And it just blends like nobody's business. I like to kind of stamp my color on and then blend. I feel like it just gives me a lot more payoff. Now that's kind of where we're at now, and even my boys, they have learned to appreciate everything that they've had, which, like I said, isn't much right now, but we do have stuff that we need. Like I said, it took me a good month to get their clothes replaced. I mean, every bit of the clothes that they got for Christmas and their clothes that they had before, just, it was all gone. It was all gone. And I hope everybody realizes that if you're sitting there and you're thinking, you know, you don't have anything, like, we don't have nothing. I mean, there are people in worse cases, and there are even people in worse cases than ourselves. There are people that don't have a roof over their head. There's people that don't have dinner to eat every night. There's just, it could always be so much worse. And I hate saying that, because I feel like every time I say that, something worse happens. So I try not to say that a lot. I'm going to use the dark brown. We're just going to, like I said, I was going to try to do a natural look, but I think it's coming out just a little bit darker than I expected. But that's okay, because that usually happens to me all the time anyways. And I'm just going to focus that shade on the outer V. There has been people in the comments talking about I'm trying to scam people and this, that, the other, which is absolutely ridiculous. I've had so many trolls that you just wouldn't believe how many trolls there are out there. And I mean, I couldn't believe some of the comments on some of my videos when this all first happened. Like, just saying the nastiest things. Like, that is something that I needed in my life right now. But I've learned to look at those comments, and if it is something like so terribly bad that just really gets to me, I block them. Just wanted to clear something up. Now, if it is constructive criticism, of course I'm not going to block you. But if you are just full on here just to attack, yes, you're going to be blocked. You know, I try not to block a lot of people, because, you know, everybody's going to have their own opinion, and I don't really like deleting comments and blocking people and all that. But if it is something just so terribly, just really gets under my skin, or something that really bothers me, yes, I will delete somebody in a heartbeat. And especially when all that stuff was going on where people were looking at my kids or my son. I mean, that's just something grown adults don't do or shouldn't do. Alright guys, so what shade? I wish y'all would pick a shade in the comments. I wish y'all could tell me right now which one to go for. I'm thinking I want the copper. I want to use this copper shade right there on the lid. And then we'll use a brightener in the middle. Usually I'd spray my brush for this, but I didn't do it. And another way to keep like your eyeshadows from getting that hard pan on top of them is if you would dip your shadow brush into the eyeshadow and then spray it when the shadow is on the brush. That'll keep you from getting hard pan, because I learned that the hard way. I used to spray my brush first and then dip into the palette, and a lot of my eyeshadows would get that hard pan on top, and they're not good after that. You know, using your fingers is always a plus too, if there is any fallout. And a lot of people love to do or prefer to do their eyeshadows before their foundation. And I have tried so many times to do that, and I just can't get in the swing of it. It's like it throws my whole thing off. So I always do it this way. And usually I'll lay down a line of bake up under my eyes to catch the fallout. I did take a brush, dip it in some of your setting powder, and just kind of dust it away. Now I'm going to take this shade right here. I'm going to take that on my finger and go right over top of that shade just to see what. Oh, that's beautiful. That is so gorgeous. And then we'll go in with the Morphe brush, dip back into the brown, and just kind of darken this up on the outer V. And I'll stamp mine on, like I said, and then I'll try to blend it, and then I'll wipe the excess off, especially if there's a lot on there, just to kind of marry them or blend them together right there. And I am going to go into this shade right here and highlight my brow bone. I'm also going to use that for my inner corner highlight. That shade has like a little green tint to it, which I don't mind. So I'm going to take the orange and go on my lower lash line. And I'm going to take that on this shader brush. This is the one I just got recently in my Ipsy bag, the SL Miss Glam brush, or shader brush, I believe. And yeah. And then I'm going to take one of these, and I'm going to go into the dark brown. I'm going to use the dark brown in this small one right here. So I'm going to be using this shade right there. And then I think my camera is like running out of memory, so I might have to do the rest off camera and then come back. Alright guys, so I am going to do the rest off camera because I am running on memory here. I'll show you everything that I used, and I'll be right back. This is the finished look. I'll go ahead and show you what I finished off with. Now on the inner corner, I used both shades in the Juvia's Place palette. I'll pull it up right here and mixed them together. I think it made the most beautiful inside highlight. Oh my gosh. After I done that, I went in with a highlighter. Now this is by far one of my favorite highlighters. This is the LA Colors strobing powder, and this is in the shade Champagne. It is absolutely gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And then after that, I just went ahead and set my makeup with the Ciate London Prime Set and Spray, I think. Or I'll have to pull it up. I've showed y'all this in a favorites. Then I just used in a black eyeliner I didn't do a wing liner or anything like that. And this is the LA Colors eyeliner pencil in the shade black. Then I curled my lashes, and I've done the Benefit Bad Gal Bang, one of my favorite mascaras. I didn't put on a set of lashes today. And then I've done a lip liner. It is Hidden Promises, and I'm pretty sure there's a shade on this. Ruby R is the shade, which I love using this lip liner. It works so well. It's so creamy without it running all over your face. And I love it to deepen up the inner corners of my lips to make them look a lot fuller. And then I use the Smashbox Always On Liquid Lipstick, and this is in shade Stepping Out, which is a very beautiful nude. It's a really deep nude, and I absolutely love it. So anyways, guys, I had a lot of fun doing this. You know, it takes out a lot of stress. That's why I'm calling it makeup therapy. I know for a lot of people it is, and definitely I am one that it is. So I had a little fun ranting. I didn't rant too bad, I don't think, did I? I don't know. comment below. Anyways, I had fun. I hope you guys did too. So if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and become part of the Glow Tart family. We would love to have you. And I love you guys so, so much. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.